Farm Together 2 just released into early access on Steam for PC and Steam Deck for about $20. It's a cozy farming sim with local co-op and multiplayer with friends or random players. It is similar to the original Farm Together, but adds an auto tractor feature, terraforming, and undoubtedly exciting updates as the game progresses through early access. Although Farm Together 2 seems like a simple game at first, it has a lot of hidden complexities. So here are 17 Farm Together 2 beginner tips to get you started in the game. Number 1, let's talk about friend permissions. When you begin the game, it gives you the choice of playing solo offline, online public so anyone can join your game, and then online but private and only friends can join. Do note you can change the visibility of your farm at any time, even after you've originally created that farm. You also are going to need to set up the permissions for friends and guests, and default I think it's set to harvest only. And remember, if they're only harvesting, they are giving you money when they sell that produce. And if you give them the permission to plant, that's using your money to plant the crops. And if they're driving their tractor, it's using your fuel. And if you go into your settings menu and how to play the game, there is a whole section on the permissions and it tells you what each permission level permits visitors and friends to do. Within the decorations section of your shop, for 40 diamonds you can buy a guest book for visitors to sign too. Number 2, let's talk about produce symbols, because this is something that is very confusing in Farm Together 2. In any of the shops that you visit, you'll notice that it shows you what they will buy and it shows what of those items you have in your inventory on the left. And it looks like I just have eggplants and some lettuce, and I think that might be garlic and peppers, but that's not really what those are. The eggplant, lettuce, garlic, and peppers, those are placeholders for groups of vegetables in that category. It doesn't just mean eggplant. If you look in your shop, you'll see that carrots and potatoes are both classified as eggplants. Tomatoes are tomatoes, corn and wheat are grains, the lettuce is going to be lettuce, and then the melon does have the melon symbol. Taking a look at the fruits, notice how the banana is classified in the pear group. So now you know that when you see things like the wheat symbol in the bakery, that doesn't just mean wheat. As you saw, that includes corn as well. So that will be the same for all of these different symbols. They are placeholders for groups of items. Number 3, there are 3 different types of currencies. We have the coins, the diamonds, and the metals. The coins you're going to use for these first items, the crops, the trees, the animals, the fish, the flowers. The diamonds you're going to use more for the decorative items and for some buildings such as the house, fencing, and your paths. Those will use diamonds. And then the metals, those I think are the hardest to come by. But take a look, you can buy fuel tankers. That's going to help with your grain. There's also a sprinkler that you can unlock with metals. You can get coins whenever you harvest something. Watch when I harvest the fish. If you look in your shop, it will tell you the yield for each item produced. For example, it was 27 per fish right there. In addition to getting coins when you harvest, you also get compensated when you sell them. For example, if I sell some eggs here, I'm going to get 5 gems, 5 diamonds. Now the metals you usually get from quests. If you look at the top right of the screen, I currently have a quest called Gastronomic Route. Once that is complete, I should earn some metals. You can also go into your quest log here and it will tell you that I get 1 medal for doing this quest. The next quest I get 3 medals for. And when you're running around town here, look for people that have the box above their head, like this guy right here. Let's see what he wants. Honestly, right now, I think I'm good. I don't want the diamonds, but sometimes you'll get characters who want to exchange diamonds for metals, and the metals I think would be worth it. So check with the characters that have boxes above their heads, because sometimes you can get some really good deals, or they will give you a new quest and you can earn new stuff. And if you want to see where the characters are, just pop open your map and you can see they're all around you. It's like a Marauder's map. Number 4, let's talk about these town shops. This is where you're going to sell everything that you produce on your farm. As you level up your farm, you will be able to open up new town shops, or stalls as they're sometimes called. So what I would do anytime you level up, go to an empty spot like this right here, click and see if there are any stalls that you can open up. Right now, the next one I'm going to get is the warehouse, but I have to wait until I have 5 metals, which I don't have yet. You also want to upgrade these stalls when you can. Go into the stall, click to upgrade, and it will tell you the cost. This one is quite costly, 10,000 coins and 8 of that type of fish. And this will increase how much you can sell to the shop, the inventory capacity there. So whenever you can, upgrade the shop and keep an eye on whatever shop you want to upgrade, what you need to upgrade to the next level, because it's not just going to be money. For example, I'm going to need 64 of the eggplant type of produce. So maybe I want to make really sure that I don't sell all my eggplant type produce because I need 64 of them to upgrade, as well as I need about $7,000 as well. Also, don't panic if you put your stall in the wrong spot. You can move it. It's going to take Z on keyboard or down on the joystick, your right joystick on controller. It will put that little dotted outline around the stall indicating that you've picked it up. And you can put it wherever there's an open space. So if I want to put it here, I can do that. And I don't think that costs anything to do. That is a really nice feature. Number 5, harvesting. Make sure to stop harvesting when you are full. You can pop open your inventory at any time and take a look at what your capacity is and what you currently have. For example, my fish, I have 50 out of 50 capacity, so I don't want to harvest any more of that type of fish. I need to go into town and sell them. You see how as I'm selling them, my inventory on the bottom left is going down? And there we go. Another tip about harvesting is don't sell all of one item like I just did. So right now, if I get a quest for fish, I won't be able to sell any right away because I have to wait until I can harvest more fish. So keeping a minimal balance of anything that you're harvesting and not selling all of it is a wise tip. Number 6 is moving items, and I already showed you this with the stalls in town, but you can move things on your farm too. So Z on the keyboard or right joystick down. You can move your crops. Just make sure when you move your crops, you are moving the crops to already tilled land or else it won't work. You also can hold down the joystick and move multiple crops or items at once. But again, make sure you have a place to put them. And there, I've just moved my watermelon. This is going to be particularly useful. Let's say you want to move a bunch of trees. You can even do this on your tractor. So right stick down, there's 1, 2, and you can see I'm taking these with me. 3, and let's say we want to move them right here by our other apple tree. We can put them right here. That is such a handy feature. I love it. Aside from moving items, if you just don't want them there anymore, you can recycle them. This is especially helpful if you make a mistake like this. Click your recycle button, confirm it, and there you have that gone. Next, let's talk about your tractor and fuel. The tractor is such a handy item. You can harvest tons of tiles at once. It saves so much time as opposed to doing this manually. But in addition to harvesting, look what all this can do. You can plow, you can plant it, and you can water it all on your tractor. But if you notice, every time I do this on the top left, my fuel is going down. You will go through a ton of fuel on your tractor. Now your fuel will auto-replenish over time, but it's very slow. So what you're going to want to do is buy some of these fuel tankers and have them around your farm. I just completely filled up my fuel. And I have another one way over there on the other side of my farm. But if you look in your store, it is going to cost you metals to buy these fuel tanks. But if you go into town to your garage, you should be able to upgrade your fuel capacity. My first upgrade is going to cost me 2 metals and 8 of that type of fish, so I'm going to hang on to some of those fish. I'm not going to sell them all, and the next time I get metals for finishing a quest, I need to spend them on this because fuel is such an essential item so you don't have to do things manually. Now the tractor also has an auto mode, but I don't like to use it because sometimes it does exactly what happened right there. It is very easy to accidentally plant things where you don't want them, and then it takes you a while to get rid of them. So it's there if you want it, and that is a new feature, but honestly, I prefer just to do it manually like this. Number 8, watering your crops is not essential, But take a look. For example, this corn says it will be ready in 26 minutes, but if I water it, it drops it down to 20 minutes. Now, if I water it again when it doesn't need it, it won't let you. So watering your crops when you can is certainly going to help you, but don't worry about it. It's really nice that you don't have to fuss. It is just going to speed things up. Number 9, here are a couple tips about growing flowers. Note, you cannot grow flowers on tilled land. So if you see the red outline here and you're wondering why you can't plant your flowers, it's because you need to go to the grass and then you can plant your flowers. Now the flowers do take a long time to grow, so I would recommend having an area where you have flowers growing all the time, and that way if you need them for quests, like right now I need 8 more daisies for quests, and you can even use your tractor to harvest these. These roses will take an hour to grow, and then let's check the daisies. They take 2 hours to grow. So there, we just leveled up. So trust me, you will be glad if you have flowers growing all the time. That way you'll have some ready if you need them for quests. And speaking of the time it takes these flowers to grow, that brings us to number 10, time progression in the game. The game is real time. So if it says these flowers take an hour and you stop playing for an hour, they will be fully grown when you come back. So your crops are growing even when you're not playing, but don't worry, they won't die. If you know you're not going to be playing for a while, I would advise planting things that are going to take longer, because the longer it takes for them to grow, usually that gives you more coins. For example, the lentils here give you 380 coins and 14 XP, but the lettuce here is only 36 and 1 XP. So if you're not going to be playing for a while, it makes no sense to plant the items that take just such a short time and give you so little in return, unless you need them for a quest. Number 11, leveling up your farm. On the top right of the screen, it will tell you the current level of your farm. Right now, I'm a level 13. Anytime you harvest a crop, it will slowly increase the level. Actually, let's hop on our tractor. Watch the little gold outline around the number 13 on that star up there. You see how it's increasing? Every time I'm harvesting. Now my corn just increased a level. That is not my farm level. Now something else that affects the XP you get from harvesting, like I mentioned before, when you are planting a crop and you're buying these seeds, it tells you how much XP you're going to get. So for the carrots, it's 2 XP, potatoes is 4, the zucchini is 3, peppers are 4, tomatoes are 8, and then the lentils, remember, it's going to take 2 hours to grow the lentils. That's significantly longer, but you will be rewarded with 14 XP. So if you're not going to be playing for a while, go for the ones that take longer. But if you're going to be actively playing and you want more to do, you might want to focus on these that give you a faster return. Now the animals, the pigs will give you mushrooms from their poop, because mushrooms grow in poop. Those give you 9 XP each, whereas the white eggs from the leghorn chickens, those only give you 2. But the New Hampshire chickens, those eggs give you 8. So generally, the more something costs, the longer it takes, the more XP it's going to give you, and that will level you up faster, but it does take longer to get that product. So it's kind of a little math game. Like I said, this game is more complex than you think. When you are ready to expand your farm and you have some diamonds, because it's going to cost you diamonds, go over to this little stone ledge here, interact with it, and it's going to ask you to confirm your expansion. It will cost you 200 diamonds. I imagine this might increase the more that you expand. So just make sure you have plenty of diamonds for that. And then once you do that, it will drop this barrier and expand your farm. Number 13, terraforming. This is something new in Farm Together too. Now, if you go to town and you click on one of these empty buildings, look what happens when you are level 30. You can unlock this building. Now, I can't say this with 100% certainty, but through my research and by looking at the little mountains, it has like a little diagram of land. It makes me think that this is the building you need to unlock for terraforming. And then if you go into your store, you have some of these that are locked. It says required feature terraforming. Down here, this looks like you might be able to add hills and cliffs. You're going to need a lot of diamonds for these, so save up your diamonds, work to getting to level 30, and that's how you're going to terraform. I mentioned this before, but I will do this again. Number 14, NPC Quests. Anytime you see an NPC in your town, you can interact with them, but only the NPCs that have boxes above their heads, like this guy right over here. These are the ones that will have quests for you. This guy wants to get rid of his coins really badly. It's the same quest he had before. I don't want them. Now this will be a really good quest, but I don't have, it looks like some sort of a red pepper down there. You would get 2 medals for completing this quest. And like I said, medals are hard to get, so check the quest from the people in town. You might find some really good ones. Number 15, text and voice chat. Currently, there is only text chat. You will bring this up with Y on the keyboard. For the controller, you'll have to go into customizing your keybinds, remap it so that there is a button you can press to open up the text chat. Do note that once you open up the text chat on controller, you're probably going to have to use the keyboard to close the chat box. So honestly, in my opinion, you might as well just use the keyboard. And if you're on Steam Deck, it will bring up your on-screen keyboard so that you can chat. And also remember, you have emotes. So if you can't text chat with somebody, you can give them a friendly wave, a thumbs up, you can clap. So you don't have to chat to communicate with someone. Number 16, settings and photo mode. You have a ton of settings to customize your gameplay. One that I really like in particular, I was annoyed by the outlines on these tiles, but if you go into your settings and interface, there is an option to completely turn those off. It is so much better. Some other things that you can do in the settings are change the size of the icons above your crops. You can even hide those if you don't like them. There's a compass you can turn on and off. You can get rid of the UI if you want to have a more immersive experience. And there are just lots of different things to play around with to customize your gameplay here. Now, one other thing you want to look at is this photo mode. And look at this photo mode. You can zoom in and out. You can get the most spectacular screenshots. I absolutely love it when games include a photo mode, especially when I'm trying to create thumbnails. But if you just wanted to take pictures and use them as a screen wallpaper or whatever you want to do, you now have the option thanks to the photo mode. I love that. And finally, number 17, the seasons. Each season in Farm Together 2 will last 17 minutes. And if you look on the top right, it has a little radial bar around the image of the sun or the leaf for fall, the ice cube for winter. And that will tell you how much time you have left in that season. Now, note when you are in your store, looking at the crops that are available, it will only show you the ones available to grow in the current season. However, let's say you plant potatoes here. Potatoes are a bad example. Let's say you plant peppers. Peppers only grow in the spring and the summer. So if I plant the peppers at the end of the summer, but they're not done growing until fall, they won't die. You'll still get them as long as you're planting it in the season that it belongs to, and it won't let you plant it otherwise. Then you're good to go. Just keep in mind, if you think you might need peppers, for example, you might want to have some planted before the end of the season and keep a little stockpile of them because they don't come back until summer or spring. And that's going to do it. I hope these 17 beginner tips for Farm Together 2 were very helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any tips for the game that I did not include in this. I would love to hear them. And if you like Farm Together and other sim and survival games, please consider subscribing. If you want to be extra nice, drop a like or a comment below. And I thank you for watching.